Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Something that I haven't done yet on the channel is go over the UFO footage that I shot from last year in detail. I've just kind of shared the footage, and I made that documentary, The Beings from Beyond, that showcases it, but I haven't really done any deep dives on the individual pieces of footage themselves, and I think it's probably worth doing and sharing my thoughts on each one of them. And the one I wanted to share today and to talk about today is one that kind of relates to the stuff I was talking about in my latest upload, where I go over the potential supernatural reality or aspect to the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch could be something more than what we think it is, more than a great ape. There's a lot of weird stuff out there in the world, a lot of weird stuff that you can run into on land, and there's a lot of weird stuff that you can encounter or observe in the sky. These last few months, like over the summer especially, like the UFO subject has been blowing up, especially when it comes to the topic of disclosure. There was that hearing in Congress where the whistleblowers, David Grush and whoever else, came forward talking about these things. You can make of that what you will. I still think, stuff that's being said in public like that is kind of being controlled to a degree. So this piece of footage that I'm sharing is featured in the documentary The Beings from Beyond, which if you haven't watched it yet, go back not that far in the channel video history, and you'll find that, where so many weird things happened in such a short amount of time on an almost nightly basis. And this is one of those really weird things that I witnessed through the camera and with my own eyes that totally blew me away because I hadn't seen anything like it before. Now, there were these things that were flying around regularly that looked an awful lot like birds and were very similar to birds, except they're lit up and they emit light. I'm convinced they're emitting light. I know a lot of people think they're reflecting light, but based on other things I've observed in the sky during those times, such as aircraft that are flying at relatively low altitudes that are made of metal and not reflecting light to the same extent that these things are, I believe they are emitting light. But you can see the footage, I'm playing it here, and there's two different things that happen in this clip. First, you can see these bird-like things flying over from east to west over top of the neighboring apartment building, which at the time was still being worked on. It wasn't finished yet, and there wasn't anybody living in there. So these things fly over that building towards the horizon, and like I said, it's east to west. And you can see them fade out as they get further and further away. Now, the lens I'm using on this camera is a 35mm f1.2 aperture manual focus lens set to infinity focus. And infinity focus means it's set to the furthest distance basically possible on the lens. So it's focused way out to the horizon, like way out in the distance. And it's on a micro four thirds camera sensor. The camera was a Panasonic G85, and I was shooting in 4K. Throughout the course of filming all this stuff, I had used a number of different cameras and a number of different picture profiles on each camera. So a lot of times the color would be different based on what color profile I was using, and I was testing different color profiles. Sometimes I was using different shutter speeds as well, usually 1/50th of a second, but sometimes I'd go to 1/30th or 1/25th just to capture more light. But then again, when you use a slower shutter speed, you're introducing more motion blur to the image, and then you get weird blurry artifacts and stuff in the video footage. So I would try to keep it at 1/50th of a second, which is what I believe this clip is shot at, 24 frames a second. But anyways, these things fade off into the distance, and you can see that they're in focus. The camera is set to infinity focus, and they fade out of sight. And I hold the camera there, so you can see there's clouds, and those clouds were moving But I was watching this through the camera screen, and in my head, I thought that one of these stars that you can see was moving, so I kept the camera there. But in reality, what was happening was the clouds were moving, and I thought I was filming a light, so I just held the camera there. And out of nowhere, this other life form or creature or whatever you want to call it, bird-like thing, unidentified aerial phenomena, zips out of nowhere, like seemingly nowhere. It's kind of hard to tell in the video. It's really hard to see the origins of where it popped into existence, but it shoots into existence and comes to like an instant stop. Like, this thing is going so fast and it comes to a stop instantly. Like, I've never seen a bird do that before. I don't think birds can do that unless maybe it's like a hummingbird or something. And I don't think that's a hummingbird. You can see this thing, like, if you look at it closely, you can see it has wings. It appears to have wings, whatever it is. Hummingbirds have wings, yet they flap them so fast you can't see them even flapping their wings. And this is so far away, there's no way you'd be able to see anything like a hummingbird. Like, if you just look where the initial bird-like life forms were when they flew over the building and then phased out into the horizon, like, they cover quite the distance. It is hard to gauge how exactly far away this is, but it's pretty far away. Like I said, this camera's at infinity focus, and I don't know, all I can say is in real life, observing it like in front of me, it appeared very far away. But this thing zips into the view of the camera right in front of where I'm filming, almost as if, you know, it knew that the camera was pointed there. Like, what are the odds that I'm holding the camera in this one specific spot in the sky with a camera that has a full frame equivalent of 70 millimeters, because it's the Micro Four Thirds cameras have a 2x crop on any lens you use, so the 35 millimeters becomes 70 millimeters on a full frame sensor. So that small portion of the sky I'm pointing the camera at, like, captures this. Coincidentally, you have to take into account all the other stuff I was filming, all the weird orbs and strange lights, and like, it was all just very weird. But this is, in my opinion, definitely related to all that stuff. And I've always felt that there was some sort of intelligence to these things, and they knew that I was filming them. So I just believe that whatever this thing was knew that I had the camera pointed there. So it zips right into frame, stops instantly, shoots up into the sky. Like, has anyone else ever seen a bird do that? Because I haven't. And I think the answer for you guys is no. You probably haven't seen a bird do that before. So then what is it? What is this thing? If it was a bug, which I can say for 100% certainty it wasn't a bug, it would have been, you know, a lot closer, and it would have been out of focus. You can see in these pieces of footage where I've accidentally captured bugs on camera, you can see what they look like. They're just really blurry, and you can see them buzzing around. That's what a bug looks like. This thing is not a bug, and it's not any bird I've seen, at least in this part of the world. If anybody else has seen something like this, let me know, because I would like to hear about it. To put everything into perspective, just watch the documentary again to see how much weird stuff was going on. And to be honest, like, there was a lot more weird stuff that went on that is not in the documentary. A lot of other weird occurrences and just strange things that would happen, not just outside, but inside my apartment as well. So, like, could it be, this is where I want to kind of tie it back into Sasquatch, could it be some sort of cryptid? Could it be something of this earth? Or is it something from another world, or maybe something from another reality? With all the other lights in the sky that I saw, the sense that I got, the feeling that I got was that they were UFOs, you know, like they were otherworldly from some other galaxy somewhere or some other planet somewhere, you know. But it's very possible that they're just from another reality, maybe another dimension. Maybe they're from this earth, but at a different frequency. Maybe it's a creature, because it appears to be organic. It appears to have wings. It appears to be a being of some kind, a life form. Either it's that or it's a hologram, you know, or a disguise. These things can maybe present themselves as a bird or whatever else to, you know, hide their true identity. Maybe they were presenting themselves in that way to me because they didn't want everybody else in the city knowing what they were. Because, you know, being in a highly populated area like that, you wouldn't want to reveal totally what you were. If you were an extraterrestrial being, you wouldn't want everyone seeing you, at least not at this point. It's too early, I think. I don't think people are totally ready for that, right? But maybe it is a disguise, or maybe that's just what they are. They're some sort of being that can fly around like that, and they have wings, and they emit light. The way I understand it from a lot of reading I've done online is that things that are partially in this reality and partially not, that are kind of slipping through this reality, they appear as light. They emit light. And that could be what's going on here. It could very well be what's going on here. But like I said, the maneuvers this thing is pulling, like stopping like that, and the speed at which it's moving, like holy crap, that's insane. But it could be of this earth. It could be a cryptid. It could be something like Bigfoot, something like the Sasquatch, that maybe sometimes it slips into this reality. And sometimes it's not. More often than not, it's in another reality. That is a possibility. So, and I'm only saying that just because, like, it seems organic in nature. It looks like a bird. Like, you can see clearly when I slow it down, it has wings. But, you know, I'm not completely convinced that it's a cryptid. I'm just saying it's a possibility. It is a possibility, and it makes you wonder, what other weird things could be out there, like around you right now, that you don't see? There could be literally anything existing around you that's invisible, you know, that sometimes can pop into reality and maybe see what you're doing. Like, think about that. There could be beings or creatures that exist outside of our range of, you know, visual light or, you know, the sound spectrum. It's kind of scary to think about. But yeah, like, this thing shot up into the sky, and I panned the camera up, but it was gone. Like, it completely disappeared. It didn't just like shoot up into the sky and was still there. It was literally like there, like popping into reality, stopping and shooting up into the sky and disappearing out of existence, basically. And that was that. Like, I couldn't see where it went because it disappeared. And man, it's kind of confusing when you're experiencing all this stuff and then you see stuff like this that really doesn't make sense, because, like I said, it looks like a bird. So it really throws you off. But all the other stuff I filmed, you know, definitely wasn't birds. It was light anomalies. Especially the very first thing I ever saw that I talk about at the beginning of the film, which was the row of lights that was spinning. That was, man, if I had that on video, you guys would be blown away, because it like blows everything else that I filmed out of the water. Like, some of the footage is pretty incredible, but that thing specifically, which was the very first thing I saw, was crazy. Like, witnessing that really freaked me out. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in your comments. Post your theories. I could be wrong about all of it. That's always a possibility. I might be totally way off the target with this, but being the one who experienced it and not only saw it, like, you guys are seeing it on the screen, but seeing something and also feeling the feelings that come along with it, like, that's a whole nother experience, you know? You get a much better sense of what was going on. But let me know what you guys think. That's what I wanted to talk about in this video. We're going to be going over more examples of this weird stuff I filmed in the sky. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.
know